All right, here we are in the lower garage. I didn't show it, but I've already marked and drilled and put these anchor bolts in. If you've seen the wall video in the basement, you've seen these bolts before. I used them holding the wall down at the bottom. Now I'm using them anchoring these boards to the wall. And these are actually spaced just shy of 8 feet apart. So the 8-foot 2x4s I have, I can actually nail them onto there and then put the cross supports and come out, because you can tell I'm building some shelving. We got this mounted. It's actually at the bottom of this board. It is 25 inches up off the floor. I got 25 specifically so I can get the wheelbarrow to fit underneath there. So you'll see when the rest of this comes together. Got all three of the shelves, the backers to the shelves up. Now we're gonna put the front part onto it. Really all they did to measure these out is I went from the top of one to the top of the other to the top of the other. It's 24 inches between those. So once I get some sheeting put on here for the shelves, it depends, it should be about 23.5 inches between here and the bottom of the next shelf, give or take. Now, since I have uneven floors, this floor is not even with the wall, which everything looks crooked. But if you go by the blocks themselves, you can see it's pretty even on the wall. Really, the only thing you can do is set your board where you need. Get your speed square, level it with where you're gonna be, then score your line across. So that way this one will be for this location, that one will be for down there. All right, I got them laid out. That's the top of this one, the top of that one. So that way I can, once I get the boards on here, I can just stand it up against the wall and then put the runners across. All right, you can see that I have the two done. I just got them sitting here. So now I just have to run a board across just to hold them together and they will be done. And I can finish up by just putting the decking on it then. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my boards, which I'm gonna make them 2 foot so they stick out 2 foot. So I'm going with 2 feet if you can't tell for most of my measurements. All right, now you can kind of see how I'm talking about putting these to spread them out. So now I just gotta bring this one out. Because remember, this is shelving, so all the weight's gonna be down. So this is just to help stabilize, and I'm gonna have more of them on here. I'll be right back as soon as I get this connected across. The reason to put the middle one in here first is that way I can actually get this to pivot whichever way I need to make sure I'm square from side to side and everything. So meaning that I can bring the top in or out by moving the bottom. So the next one I'll do is the top one. And if all else, remember, this is just shelving in a garage, so it's not like it's gonna be really seen. It's just more utilitarian. Now you can kind of see the frame all laid out now. Really what it is just screwed together this way. This thing does not move at all. It does have a little wobble back and forth, but once we get the shelving on here and screwed down, it's not gonna move. And these are not drywall screws like most people would normally use. These are actually construction screws. I can't focus, but there you go. So that way you can see they're not gonna just shear like a drywall screw will if you have weight on them. What I referred to about shearing is take these 2 screws here, for example. The weight that's gonna be pushing down on these would actually, you know, if it was in there and broke, it would shear straight down. That's what I mean by shear strength. There is actually some of the boards we have. I got them on there. This used to be an 8-foot piece. That's why you can see I got 4 pieces out of it. And yes, I know I don't have enough for the rest of them, or even the end, but you get the idea. So now I just gotta go around and scrounge and find some more plywood. And just in case, you know, no one was eagle-eyed and I didn't point it out before, if you notice, these shelves do not actually touch the wall. I try to minimize the contact with concrete because wood will soak up moisture, and the concrete block is porous, so it will actually just wick the stuff right into the wood and rot it out really quick. So I do understand these fasten to the wall. I don't have much of a choice. Hopefully this won't be too bad because that's actually an interior wall to the basement. I just thought I would share this other little hack. I'll go ahead and I'm nailing the plywood down here. I'm just using roofing nails because that's what I have handy. But if you're sitting here looking down, you can't really see where you want to put your nail. So what I usually do is I use my middle finger, stick it underneath, lay the other one on top, bring it up, lay it up. Now I know if I put the nail right at the tip of my finger, I'm gonna be in the wood. And that's all there is to it. That's how I can just make sure I'm not gonna miss the wood all the way down on all the shelves. All right, I am all done with those 2 shelves. I've been scrounging around. I cannot find anything right now for plywood for the shelving up here, so I'm gonna let that go. But other than that, we're gonna let this sit like this for now until I find more plywood, but I can go ahead and fill up the other shelves. Just so you know, it is strong enough. I've actually climbed up here because I wanted to check the lights above it. So it is strong enough to hold myself. You can see this is really done. I know I said I still don't have a top 1 shelf yet, but I don't even have enough to fill everything up yet. I still have to move a lot of stuff from over there over, so it should fill up. But other than that, we're gonna call this done. And yeah, cheap. I didn't pay for any of the 2x4s. All this plywood has been recycled. The only thing I paid for was the wall anchors and the screws. So I think for the probably $5–10 I have in this, it was definitely worth it.